There's a question I find myself asking just about every day. What is the best Foursquare weapon? Now, I know what you're gonna say. What? What does this mean? And to explain that, we're going to need to explain a few other things. For starters, what is Foursquare? I guarantee you've all played it. It's that playground game with the four squares and the bouncy rubber ball. Alright, so you're all immediately asking the follow-up question. That game doesn't use weapons. What's a Foursquare weapon? Well, at top level, Foursquare is a little bit different. Sure, you still have the choice to just play with your hands. However, top level Foursquare introduces over 120 weapons into the mix. These weapons range from golf clubs to tennis rackets to baseball bats to just like random sticks. And with over 120 options, today I'd like to analyze what the best option is. To determine this, we are going to be looking at the weapon that has the highest probability of winning a tournament. Yes, a Foursquare tournament. What is competitive Foursquare? The tournament rule set is just a tad different than the casual rule set. On your playground, you have your standard rules. It's not allowed to double bounce, you're only allowed to hit it once, you cannot volley it out of the air, and you can only hit it with your hands. The tournament rule set changes many of these things. You are allowed to double hit it. Double hitting is an extremely powerful option. You are not allowed to do it when being served to, because that would be just a tad too easy to get somebody out with. The tournament rule set also allows you to volley it. This is better known as an air hit. Much like double hitting, you are not allowed to air hit when being served to. Serving has its own set of rules. I won't cover all of them. Just know that a serve needs to be underhand, and it needs to land relatively in the middle of the servee's square. Overhand serves, powerful serves, serves near the corner of squares, these are classified as dickhead serves. I've gone on this tangent just to say that a serve needs to be gentle, so if you were allowed to air hit or double hit when being served to, you could punish the server super hard and there could be nothing for them to do about it. And the last tournament rule, you are allowed to use any part of your body, the only exception being your hands and arms, if you are using a weapon. Other than that, and some other very niche rules, those are pretty much all the differences between Foursquare and Tournament Foursquare. So what makes a weapon good? Just try to think of a good weapon. In your head, I'm sure a baseball bat would come to mind. Not a plastic one, but a metal one. This is a pretty common opinion for people who have just picked up the game, but let's just start by analyzing the strengths of the baseball bat weapons, as they are some of the most fundamentally simple weapons in the game. Let's start with the silver bat. It's heavy, and honestly, no weapon hits harder than it. Hooray, we found it, right? Surely this is the best weapon in the game. Yikes! Not even close. Strength is not everything in a Foursquare weapon. This is probably the best example of that. Silver Bat, while incredibly powerful, is too slow to make use of that strength. Alright, so clearly we need something faster. Let's look at the Wiffle Ball Bat. Alright, definitely moving up in the world, but B- isn't anything special. What about something with just a little more power that doesn't compromise speed? The Big Bat and the Slugger are decently strong and fast. These are pretty decent weapons, but they're still only B+. What could be above them? The Drumsticks? You can't hit the ball at all with these. So what makes them good? To answer this, we're going to need to look at competitive Foursquare's craziest rule. So what truly makes a weapon good? Now everybody knows that grabbing the ball with your hands is banned. But in competitive Foursquare, you are allowed to grab the ball with weapons. If you can balance the ball on your weapon, you are allowed to hold it. So long as you do not move, you are allowed to continue holding it for as long as you want. Pretty much every high and top tier excels at grabbing and throwing the ball. And if they don't, they have incredible strengths to make up for it. Throwing the ball is how you get the most devastating punishes in the game. Grabbing the ball is also the best defensive play in the game. There's definitely a grab meta. The best weapons in the game are either grab machines, or they are specifically designed to counter grab machines. I mean, really, what kind of answer is there to Scooper grabbing the ball and slamming it into your square? Scooper is definitely the melee or brawl ice climbers of Foursquare. They get one grab, and then they kill you. A grappler weapons punish game also does not have to be linear. With the Silver Bat, all you can really do is hit it up and then slam it. But with, say, the tennis racket, you can do a variety of different types of throws at different angles, at different speeds. There's so many things you can do with the tennis racket that it is completely overwhelming for your opponents. So, now that I've highlighted the attributes that I believe are integral to a good Foursquare weapon, namely speed, grab, and throws, which weapon does this the best? So, the answer's probably tennis racket, right? Or maybe Scooper? Scooper's punish game is equal to or better than the tennis racket. Now, I know what you're all thinking. With enough range, you can block the Scooper's punish, correct? Therefore, the best weapon in the game would be the best defensive weapon in the game. My answer for best defensive weapon would be the Snow Shovel. The Snow Shovel has power, range, and consistency. It might even have the best recovery in the game, but Snow Shovel isn't the longest weapon. Broken Rake is longer, so therefore, hypothetically, it has a better defensive stat. But wait! Neither of these weapons are the longest weapon in the game, because the longest weapon in the game is Flag. Now, I think we gotta tone it down a bit, because I just suggested a hypothetical universe where Flag is the best Foursquare weapon. What about a weapon with a Scooper level punish game and Snow Shovel level reach? Bam! Bow. The intricacies of bow are so vast and varied that it hypothetically has a tennis racket or Scooper level punish game. On top of the fact that it's longer than those weapons, you could say that in theory it is better than those weapons. But in practicality, bow has bow RNG, it has weird hitboxes. It's not the most consistent weapon. Consistency is pretty vital in a competitive setting. But again, hypothetically, bow can do all this crazy stuff, and there's ways to make it so bow RNG is never even a thing that happens. That's gotta be it. But Flag is still longer. Tennis racket is better offensively and defensively. Driver is a weapon that exists. How are we supposed to come to a concrete answer? Okay, because like, you could say that the weapon with the best punish game is the best weapon, but then you could say that the weapon with the best defense counters it and is therefore the best weapon in the game. But what truly even makes it the best defensive weapon if it doesn't have the longest range? Maybe you just go for something in the middle of all these stats? And this is why I ask myself this question just about every day. The answer's Racquetball Racket.